before giving you a live demo of the portal, I thought that it would be important to mention what were our objectives, the main objectives for this first release of the data portal. So we had three main objectives. The first one is to provide tools, user-friendly tools, for browsing the kids' first data, harmonized data sets, and make them available to the community. That was really our first objective. The second one was to provide a seamless integration between the compute cloud platform, the kids' first compute cloud platform, which is Kabatika, which you're going to hear about after my talk, and the portal. And finally, the third objective was to not only build the portal, but also the foundation, the software foundation for the next coming feature that we will implement in the following year, and which include some community and collaborative tools and a variant database. So let me start the demo. So this is the landing page of the portal. So in order to be able to use the portal, you need to create an account. Why is that? Because actually, as it was mentioned already, what we would like to create is not only a portal where people can go browse, download, and do some analytics, but we want to create a community around the kids' first data. And so for that, you need a user community. So that you need to have an account to identify yourself. And within this community, people will be able to interact with each other, to exchange messages, to create collaborative projects, and working space where they can work on the kids' first data together to achieve some maybe a normalization project, for example. So you need to create an account. So we wanted this process very simple, very quick, so that people don't feel overwhelmed, but just to create an account, yet another account. So let's do that. So 3 steps only. So you need to connect, and you don't need to create yet another password. You can use a social media authentication system. So for example, currently we offer Google and Facebook, but we would soon offer Orchid, Era Common, and I forgot the third one, LinkedIn. So now I'm going to use Google. And then, so normally I should pick my email address, but it was done automatically. So here's the second step is to define what best describes you in terms of a profile. So we have 4 profiles: researcher, healthcare professional, patient and family members, and community members. Why are we asking for that? Again, so we aim in the portal to offer different views depending who you are. So for example, a gene page, information of a given gene would be presented in a different way for patient or family members than for researchers. So it's going to be obviously more technical for researchers and more general information for family members. So we really want to tune the portal views according to your profile. And this is why we're asking this single question, who you are, basically. What's best describe you? So I'm going to pick researcher, and then next, I have a usual standard term and condition agreement. I need to accept it. And there you go. You get your account created. And now you can either complete a kind of profile description of yourself, or you can start right away to browse the kids' first data. So this is the profile page. So you can edit. For example, I can add more information about myself. So I have this kind of form: my name, my title, principal investigator, my institute, OICR, and so forth. So you have a autocomplete for the address. My building is in Marsh, Toronto.
Vincent, trying to hold the microphone at your mouth.
Oh, sorry. So the system finds your address automatically and complete the form for you, and then you can save that. You have on the right side an indicator of the completeness. So 42% of my profile is complete. Again, you're not forced to fill in everything, but but this indicated how complete is your profile description. So you can add a bio of yourself, your story, share, or you can have also research interests. So you can, for example, add research interests. We have a pre-selection of the first kids' first disease area. You can select more than one. You can be interested in some study. Again, here the idea is that knowing what your research interests are, we can eventually build a system to notify you when new information comes into the portal. For example, if there's a new data set for a given study, you will be notified if you have indicated that here that you're interested by that study, and so forth. So really we want the portal interactive and not a static portal where you just go and browse. You can also, so you can save that. You can also indicate where we can find you. So, for example, we have different websites, or your own website. You have your LinkedIn URL, Facebook account, and even your ORCID ID. So, for example, I don't know if I have an ORCID ID. Yeah. So I can copy paste my ORCID ID, and then the system will automatically build into ORCID. Once you're happy with that, you can start browsing the data. So I would do it on another account, and this is the file browser we have. This is really our main tool for now for browsing the kids' first data. So it's a file browser. On the left, you have Facet, or the search criteria that we have. In the middle, you have the result and the list of files that you find. And on the left, on the right-hand side, you have a few actions that you can take on the files that you have found. So let me go through the Facet. So the Facet panel is divided in two different sections. One is more related to clinical data, and the other one is more related to file data, file source criteria. So you have the study name, diagnosis category, diagnosis as submitted by the studies to the DCC, the family composition. So that's something that is also very unique to Kids First. We do have information on the families. So, for example, you might want data for patients that are for which we do have data also on the relatives, the family. So we have that. Problem, yes or no. Again, we have data on the non-proven participants, gender, race, and tissue types, like normal or tumor. This is for cancer. On the file side, we have different search criteria, experimental strategy, whole genome, harmonized data. So Kids First not only store harmonized data, but also keep the unharmonized data available for the community. Mainly data like pathology reports, operation reports, histology, and so on. Data types here. File format, family shared data types. So you might want to have only data for complete family. For example, you're interested in one cancer, but you want also the sequencing data for the parents as well. So we can select programs who have data for the families, and so on. So let me do a query quickly. Let's say I'm interested in trios only. So I can select trios here. And then I'm interested in some diagnosis of cleft, for example. And you can see that the results are obviously automatically updated on the right side. So I have this criteria, and then let's say I'm interested let me go up. I want a line read, sequencing data in cram format, and for which the family has it. Also, a line read. I want complete data on the entire family. So this is what I get. So on the top here, you can see you have the summary of your query, and you have a summary of the count here. So we do provide count for example, this query returns 285 from 218 participants, from 204 families, and for 3.63 terabytes of data. So we do have also a lot of other fields that can be viewed and selected here in this all filter window. So in total, we have 106 fields, okay, which are grouped in different categories. So 5, for example, we have analyzed data, reference genome, and so on. Participants, we have all these 5, so we have fields. We have criteria for biospecimens, like composition, concentration, and so forth. We have a lot of fields for the outcomes, age, and for phenotypes, for example. So in phenotypes, one also important thing here in KIT first is all our phenotypes, all our patients will be tagged with HPO terms. So this is a way to harmonize the data across different studies. We will actually assign HPO terms to each participant. We have also in diagnosis, we have also the Mondo ID ontology. We're going to use it extensively for diagnosis. So KIT first wants to use ontologies, and so as a tool to harmonize the data across studies, and we will be able to search by ontology term. We have also some fields about experiment. So the experiment date, strategy, I show that, the parents for sequencing and read, and so on. So the long list of fields and values are on the right side of this tool, and you can search them. For example, you can search for a field, gender, and then you get gender for the participant and gender for the family members. But you can also search for values. Let's say I'm looking for females only, and then I can select that. When I select a value, this query gets updated, and the counts also are refreshed. Now, if you want to see the result of this query, you go to View Results, and then you get a new table with this new query. So once you have that, you can play with this table. For example, you can display more than different columns. For example, if you want the participant external ID, you can display different columns. You can export the table as you see it in a TSV format that can be reopened in Excel. Yeah. So you can also download some files, so a manifest. So if you want a list of files represented in this table, you can download this as a CSV. For example, if I open this, I get all the file manifests, which is 70 files, but I want also maybe include the files from the relative, the family. So that I want to align with as well for the family, from the family members. So then I can select this, I can select the GVCF as well, and then I can download the manifest. And then I get a TSV file that can be opened in Excel. And then I get this long list of files. So from the program and their family members and the family. Yeah. Okay, I'll save. You can also download the list of biospecimens represented within this file, and also the clinical data in TSV. Now, also what you can do, you can share a query. So, for example, we implement 4 ways of sharing a query. Click here, and then you can either create a very short URL that you can copy-paste in an email. You can share on Facebook, share on Twitter, for example. You can send this tweet with Twitter, and so on LinkedIn as well. You can save a query. So if I save that query, click on Save, I get automatically a name for that query that I can edit right away, and then I can save it. And where are my saved queries? Well, they are displayed in my dashboard. So this is the second page we have. It's a dashboard. It's very beginning of what we aim to build for this dashboard. Currently, we have one what's called widget, which are the safe queries. But the plan is to include a lot of other widgets, different kind of views or tools that you will be able to launch, for example, from your dashboard. It's going to be really a dashboard to summarize the data, your content, and you can have also notifications, for example. This is where you start to communicate, to connect with people in the Kids First. So as I said, for now we have the Save Queries widget where you can have a list of queries that you have actually performed and want to save, and you get the summary results here, and you can actually rerun it as you want. So if I click here, go back and I rerun the same query on maybe a new data set, a new release, and I would see if the result is different or not. Okay, that's for the dashboard. Now, the two last things I would like to show is how to download data and how to copy files to Gabriella. So in order, you see this lock on the right side. I mean, this means that actually you don't have access to the data for two reasons. Mainly you're not connected, or if you're connected, you actually don't have access. You need to make a proper data access request to have access to the studies or this set of files. So to be able to connect to, so you need first to connect to your common, and then the system will identify which files you have access to. So let's do that. You can go to Settings, and there is where you can connect. So you connect to the Gene Tree system to your common. So if I do that, there. So this is the iTrust visual authentication page. So I log in there. So there's a big mechanic that is happening now, but at the end, basically you're connected. Oops. Coming. Do it again. Let me try again. Here you go. So you see now I'm connected now to the Gene Tree system, and I can see what are my authorized studies. So I click here, and then I get the different studies I have access to. So, and then you can see all the data files from these studies for which you have access. So let's try this one. The pediatric brain tumor, which is one of the main projects of Kids First for now. And then you can see that the lock on the right side has been is gone, because actually I do have access to this file, so I can download them or I can push them to Gabriella. So let's try to download a pathological report, So I go here. Let's say a pathology report. Like pathology report from the studies. You can see that I have over 1,000 pathology reports in that study from 800 participants. And if I want to download them one, so I click here, and then I get a PDF file, open it. So, and then you have the pathology report for this patient. Now, the last things I would like to show is how to push files to Gabriella, which is again the cloud platform of the Kids First project. So let's clear that. I'm going to push 20 BAM files, for example. So I select BAM or CRAM, let's say BAM file. And let's say I want to push this first 20 CRAM files from the study. Oh, actually the study is done, but yeah. Okay, so it's very simple actually. You just click on this button, Before I want to show you the Gabriella platform. So here I'm on the Gabriella platform. I log in. So this is what the Gabriella platform looks like. So currently I have one project in my platform, and if I click on a given, on Gabriella, if I click on it, I see I have, for example, 3 files in this project. Okay, so let's go back to the Gabriella. Now I'm going to create a project, but the nice thing is I can create a project in Gabriella directly from the portal. So let's say I want to push this 20 files to Gabriella. I click here, and I can either push this 20 files to an existing project, the project I just showed you, or I can again create a new project. So I can create a demo project. Let's see, I enter the name of the project. Save it. Okay, and then I select the project I want to push the files to, and I copy the file. So this is very nice integration between the portal and the cloud platform, like such as Gabriella. So in order to see if it really works, I go back to Gabriella, I refresh my page like this. And you can see that the new project is created, demo project. And if you click on it, and look at the files, I got my 25. It works. So yeah, so it's a very nice integration and very useful integration, because now you will be able to actually browse the kids first data across different studies, harmonize data with HPO terms and so on, select the files you want to do some analysis on, push them to a cloud platform, performing cloud platform, and then you can start doing your analysis. So this is very an integration between exploration and analysis that is done with the system for this first release. So it's quite nice. So let me finish with let me conclude with 2 slides. Yeah, what I show here is really the tip of the iceberg, meaning that we actually built a very quite important, significant infrastructure to support the portal and also to support what's coming next. Okay, and we did it in a way that we built microservices, so which are basically small pieces of software that are standalone. You build them on their own. They can work on their own, but they are meant to be part of an ecosystem, and they can interact with each other. And so we had to build many of them. So for example, in this diagram we have Ego, which is the application that manages user authentication, authorization. Persona, which is the application that manages the profile. We have all the search tools that I showed today. You have the share links. It's another application. You have the data coordinator, release coordinator that Alison talked about a bit earlier. And so forth. So we do have a lot of microservices, different kind of databases as well, and all this put together as an ecosystem is used to run the portal and even more actually. So those microservices, we want to make them reusable by other projects. Okay, we're not building a monolithic piece of code very big that can be only used for the kids first. We really want to build components that can be used by any other software, any other project. And we do that through the project called Overture, which is very a suite of open source components again, that can be reused by others. So it's another way to contribute to cancer research, or not cancer, but pediatric research, is to also on the software side, so people can reuse software in their own project. Next, finally, the further work. So our aim, this is just the beginning, actually. And this is our first release. It took, because we built this big infrastructure, it took time to release the first version of the portal. And now our aim is to make more frequent software release. Smaller, but more frequent. And we're going to add low-hanging fruit features. So as I said, we will want to make this a more useful, not useful, but standard dashboard with a lot of widgets. And we want also to start creating what we call entity page. So a page for a given entity. For example, the first one would be on participant with pedigree information, and the next one would be probably the ones that would be from the variant database with gene page, variant pages. We want to build more significant features in parallel. And the first one that we want to deliver within 6 months is a core builder. Now, the way you select the patient, the participant in the file browser, we're aware of some limitations, and we really want to build outside of the file browser a real, very comprehensive, advanced core builder to select cases, participants, based on ontologies, terms, name, and so forth. So we would include, for example, the ontology browser and a lot of tools to build the core people want to work with. And the next step after that will be the variant database. We want a database that can store 1 billion of variants. So we really want a very robust and performing database for variants. And in parallel, we will build community and collaborative tools for the different profiles we have, so family, foundation, clinician, and researchers. I would like to thank the teams at YTR, and that's it.
Great, thanks so much, Vincent. And hopefully those of you who are on the WebEx can really see the alignment between the features and workflows and backend infrastructure as constantly trying to align to the design principles that we outlined earlier in the day. And as Vincent highlighted, this is just the first rollout of the first version, again aligning with our core principles of really accelerated processes that can provide a minimum viable product for accelerated research, recognizing that we will have, as Vincent mentioned, continual releases of features and applications within the program and additional development. But as Vincent also mentioned, this is live and available for you to play with. And really, as we discussed throughout the day, we hope that the community will engage with additional feedback and use cases that they have of interest. We are extremely open to this and would very much like as broad informed development process with community partners. So we'll pause there. I think we're scheduled for a break at this moment in time, and when we return, we'll pick up where Vincent left off, which is in the workspace environment. Michaela from Seven Bridges will demonstrate how users can actually perform research on files within that environment, and then additional integration features with additional data sets.
Okay, we'll be back at 2 o'clock.